The coffin carrying late Namibian President Hage Geingob's remains has arrived at Parliament Gardens in Windhoek. He passed away on the 4th of February after a battle with cancer. He was 82 years old. Thousands of people lined the streets of Windhoek yesterday to catch a glimpse of the hearse as it made its way from State House to his private residence. The procession then made its way to the gardens where his body will lie in state, while the final memorial service will take place. Geingob will be laid to rest tomorrow morning at Heroes Acre in Windhoek. At least 18 heads of state are expected to attend the funeral, including South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa as well as Tanzania's President Samia Hassan. We speak now to Namibian journalist Shelleygan Petersen in terms of what to expect in the mood, I guess, essentially in the country. Shelleygan, good morning to you. Perhaps you can just let us know or maybe capture for us the mood in the country before his burial tomorrow.
Good morning from a very sad and somber Namibia today. Yesterday, the body of President Geingob traveled through the city, starting from State House right to the informal settlements and straight back to the independence. It was a very sad atmosphere, but also one of celebration. Namibians smiling and laughing and remembering a very joyful and dancing president as we know him to be. Also, a lot of Namibians just saying thank you, Mr. President, for all the efforts. Also, I think the realest moments was when the coffin entered the president's private residence, Casa Rosalia, and you could hear the cries from the moment he entered the gates of that home until our former First Lady Monica Geingob was breaking down, gasping for air, as the body just passed in front of her before it went into their house. So that was Namibia yesterday.
Sure. What did he find when he ascended to the presidency, right? And what are some of his achievements as we reflect on what he has managed to do to turn the tide in Namibia?
When he found when his administration took office, President Geingob found a president or a country that wasn't faring that well economically. At that time, with President Pohamba leaving the seat, he left a very stable in terms of peace and security. So President Geingob found that and took that on during his presidency. However, we still had issues of housing backlogs. We still had issues of service delivery. During his tenure, he leaned towards more of an investor-friendly agenda, and that's what he pushed on. Because at the time, Namibia's investments were very low. Our investment agency was under ministry, and he took it out of the ministry, made it into the Namibian Investment Board that we know today. President Geingob was also known as a champion for press freedom in the country. During his tenure, we had the Access to Information Act also passed through Parliament, and right now it's in the final stages before it is enacted. Geingob also increased, and I think this is one of the most memorable things that our elderly and vulnerable always remember. He found our pension grant at 500 to 600 Namibian dollars, and he increased it to 1,500, which it is right now. And they are hoping for another increasement because before Geingob left, or at the end of last year, he promised he promised the elderly that their pension fund will increase with about 200 Namibian dollars. And also his administration led the campaign to ensure that other grants are increased, the introduction of the basic income grants, the introduction of the food bank program as well. These are some of the matters or the issues that he brought to the forefront, and he improved the lives of those Namibians.
South Africa, Namibia, amper, almost the same. And so when we take a look at bilateral relations under his stewardship, how would you characterize them between the two countries?
I think we saw a very close relationship between President Cyril Ramaphosa and President Hage Geingob. We also did see at the very end such I don't know what to call it, an interesting last 2 years in terms of our relationships. We've had the Pala Pala matter where the two presidents were accused of covering up the investigations that was done during COVID and how state procedures were bypassed for President Ramaphosa to get his money back. I think that is one of the most topical matters or issues that took place. And of course, at the end of last year, President Geingob also spoke out again against two matters with South Africa, one of them being the Orange River dispute, the disputes where the riverbed is and whether the Orange River belongs to South Africa or Namibia and Botswana. I mean, this is a matter that's been there for over 10 years, I think, since independence, if I'm not wrong, that has never been dealt with. President Geingob was very frustrated with the fact that the South African government did not want to address this matter or finalize the matter. And secondly, the way that the Southern African Customs Union was set up, President Geingob said it's unfair that South Africa gets the biggest portion of it while we all should be equal in that matter.
A very interesting conversation that no doubt will still rage on. And so when we look forward to tomorrow, we mentioned that a number of heads of states from the continent will be attending. To your knowledge, who else will be there outside of South Africa's president?
Outside of South Africa's president, we have President Masisi from Botswana is coming. President Ruto has arrived from Kenya. We also have the Qatari president coming. The Finnish president has also arrived in Namibia. We also have the German president is also on his way. So that's as far as we have. We also have a member of the British royal family, Princess Anne, that's also on her way. She hasn't arrived yet.
Okay. Shelleygan, just to take a look at another issue that concerns Namibia. I know we are reflecting on his life and his funeral, but just for stability in the country moving forward, who is touted to then fill in his shoes?
Yes, we have President Nangolo Mbumba, who was sworn in, was the vice president during President Geingob's tenure, and was sworn in no less than 12 hours later after the death of President Geingob, who was sworn in. And he appointed our Deputy Prime Minister, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, as the Vice President. Now, she's also running for presidency for the ruling party, despite there being some disputes in that matter. So she is also our Vice President currently. And we got a new Deputy Prime Minister, John Motorwa, who also serves as our Minister of Works and Transport.
Shelleygan Petersen, thank you very much for availing yourself this morning. Always a pleasure to speak to you. She's a journalist based in Namibia.